Don't say. Hi everyone, welcome back, and this is the interlude between the shoe reviews, and I've got a very special guest, a guy I've known for
too many years,
ages, and actually was kind of aware of him before I knew him, which sounds weird and kind of wrong. So this is Tony. Hi Tony, welcome.
Good afternoon, how are you doing?
I'm alright, thanks mate. You?
Good. Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Everybody's probably wondering, Tony, who? Actually, Tony Leonard. You can make a connection if you've been watching the Euro 10,000s, but let's leave it there. What have you been doing?
Well, basically, as you said, we've known each other for many, many years. I've been in the sports industry for a long time. Ex-international athlete myself. PBs of 13:35 and 28:80. I know. Well, talking about Rome.
Pre-carbon shoes as well, mate. Come on.
Well, somebody was saying my son who ran the Europeans last weekend, Rory Leonard, he'd have nearly lapped me. I said, hey, he had the shoes on, he's got the new surfaces. He'd have been a lap behind, I think.
Yeah, I reckon so. I'm going to support the oldies here, mate.
Yeah, absolutely.
All the way.
Yeah, no, so that's a bit of my brief history, having been a GB international and all the rest of it, and club athlete and Salford areas, and in the sports industry since I finished running a good few brands, and here I am now with VJ. Selling the best grip on the planet.
Yeah, I know, complete step away from where you were with companies like Nike and everything else, let's be honest.
Yeah, big difference. I think that the way the world is now and how things have changed and progressed and so on. I'm with a great company here that performance is number one, and there's no compromises. And the the shoes we have, it's about the grip and it's about the performance of the uppers.
All right, I'm going to come back to them in a minute.
Good.
Because you know me, we have this reputation of being a couple of old grumpy old men on a park bench when you come to visit.
Yeah.
So, our carbon shoes progress?
I think they are in certain ways, obviously, and in other ways I think we've got to be very careful with them. Progress in terms of, as I said, Formula One, tennis rackets, we don't use wooden ones anymore, we use carbon ones. Formula One, if you look at the cars, they've changed where they are. So technology has advanced all the different sports in many good ways, but also you've got to be very careful about when you're using them in running shoes, how much you use them.
Biomechanics.
Yeah, exactly. Because we become so reliant and the body's doing less and less, which means that there are flaws, shall we say, injuries, and so on, because we're not mechanically moving necessarily in the way we were before we used them or when we are using them. So it's for me, I'm saying, yeah, they're good. Use it once or twice a week at the most, and if in my ideal world it would just be racing.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm the same on that.
Yeah,
and I kind of get the argument of everything else has moved on. For me, the biggest thing is, and I see it. You must see this at the club as well, where you're at. You see, it's like young teenagers wearing them for track sessions, and you're looking at the mechanics and going,
yeah, exactly.
At some point, that's going to be sorted. That's going to have to be sorted.
Yeah, absolutely. I think,
and it's not good.
No, and I think talking to various coaches up and down the country of their athletes, and they kind of almost they've got to be, the psychologist's got to be in carbon shoes to be doing anything, special. Got to be in them, and that mindset now is like all the time. And I've been saying this for a good few years now since we started out with these, is that I believe we'll see more and more injuries.
Well, we're starting to see it, to be fair, and it's generally stuff below the knee at the minute. I reckon we're also going to see stuff with hip flexors, low back. I think that'll be the next areas. Yeah. And then I think the other issue is if we've got kids in them now and it's affecting the biomechanics, there's going to come a point where that becomes a limit.
Oh, absolutely.
And actually they can't improve anymore. Yeah. And it's because of the biomechanics has been affected negatively. You've got to go back to the base core. How do we move? Get that right. Yeah. And it's interesting, there's a lot of sport like, let's say football, because we see it at the moment, haven't really got that type of technology coming through, or even cushioning in a football boot still. it's still just studs into the ground and off you go. And movement mechanics first.
Yeah, I think
and
it's
then
huge.
bring the shoes into play.
Huge. Again, it's like anything, you know. There's moderation. You know, that's the bottom line of it. Yes, you can use them. You know, like I say, for racing or one session a week or whatever it might be, for the psychology of it all. You know, and you've done a good session, you're happy with it, whatever. But to be using them generally. You know,
I think there's other takeaways we can take from sessions, not just how fast it is as well.
Well, absolutely.
There's so much more we can do.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, one thing we were always talking about is how the standard of athletics has changed from our day. I mean, I'm never ever as quick as you, and I'd only dream of it. But you know, 30 minutes for 5 miles, and retrospective times of that, so it's 36. Something I did, I think 36:40, and then a 10k in. Which is all right for a big bloke. It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
But not great, but it's all right.
Yeah,
and I'd finish a race and I'd be in the top 200.
Yeah.
And if I did it now, I might win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, that's perhaps a bit of it up. I'd be top 5.
Yeah, I think.
And it's like, what's gone wrong?
Well, I just think that. There's a couple of things. I think first of all, you know, it's like. We look at it on a global basis now, and you see everybody running around and running 26 and 27. And if you're looking for, you know, on a local level, looking for selection for various things, sort of thing, it's kind of the bar is way up here now, and I think that it's almost unattainable. So you've got youngsters coming through thinking, I can never get there. So you know what, I'll go look and do something else, sort of thing. Whereas if we had the you know, the sort of what shall we say? We call it. We're just different standards, so they're achievable. You know what? So as you're progressing through your career, you can hit those markers, sort of thing, and you're able to, you know, see progress. Whereas, you know, at 17, 18, you're probably looking at the guys in front of you now and thinking, wow, well, if they can't do it, there's no way I'm going to be able to do it.
Do you reckon it's a case of also training has changed dramatically, and at a club level we've not kept up, but it's only if you get to that higher level that you start to hear of it and it becomes mainstream? But at this lower level, actually it's still too traditional, and we've not moved.
Yeah, I think that definitely is a case. And I think also, you know, with various things going on in athletics now, we don't have as many coaches in a particular club. They kind of water down because we have so many clubs. So for instance, my brother's little boy is trying to get into a club, can't get in for 18 months.
Not enough coaches to take the kids.
Not enough coaches to take the kids in, and the coaches, you know, there are so many rules and regulations now for those coaches to get involved in the first place that, you know, like a lot of other things, there's other things they can be doing where it's not as, you know, it's not as difficult to get through the system, if you want. Consequently, those youngsters
I've been missed.
Can't get in, you know, and when somebody's keen today, they might not be as keen tomorrow, and we've missed them.
Or they've gone into football.
They've got, exactly, we've missed them, we've gone off into another sport, because there's so many other choices now, and I think that's another thing. Back in the day, you know, there was cricket, rugby, running, you know, football, whatever, whereas now there are so many different opportunities for youngsters to get involved, that they've got so many choices that we're splitting. Instead of splitting between 4 sports now, we're splitting between a lot more. You know, so I think there's that as well.
Do you think there's also pressure to specialise younger when we shouldn't be?
Oh, I completely agree with that. I think, you know, you should be going to... Again, I just had a conversation with somebody from years gone by, and we joked about doing the pole vault in the Northern Leagues. And we joked about doing the hurdles and not being able to get over them, you know, and getting points for your club in the Northern League and so on. And I think that we just had fun doing it, and we did all of those things for points. You know, and you know, the guys I'm talking about all went on to be, you know, not all of them, but a lot of them went on to be international athletes, and they were having fun and enjoying it and moving through. And then, you know, when they were getting to 17, 18, 19, realising, hey, you know what, I can be an 800 metre runner, I can be a 5,000 metre runner, I can, you know, do a cross country runner, being more specific. But I think now that we look at records, we're forever they're promoting youngsters about a world record or a national record, whatever, and fortunately unfortunately, I should say, a lot of them don't end up staying in the sport. You know.
Well, if you look at the science research with development of youth, and if you had, say, a young teenager training 5 days a week running, and then you had someone the same age training 3 times a week, the chances are there will be very, very little difference in performance for the extra 2 days, there may be none. And you will always have effectively someone probably within a club, or certainly within a town, city, 1 or 2 of the youngsters would be standout.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence that says they go on to be the next champions.
No.
Some do, some don't.
Yeah.
And you look at people like Paula Radcliffe, the top 5 in the club if they were lucky, and certainly county championships, and go on to to be a world champion, world record holder at a distance they probably haven't even thought about when they were 16, 17. Yet we seem to be sort of trying to pigeonhole almost too soon, and then pile the pressure on, which actually almost feels to me sometimes back off, keep the development going. And then jump in, sort of like you say, 15, 16, right, now what do you want to do?
Yeah, there was a case about, Rory is 23, so he'll be 19, so four years ago, whatever, he won the National Cross Country Championships.
Next, I met him just before that, didn't I?
Yeah. And so, hey, a good under 20 athlete. And I was trying to keep a father of a young girl off of doing as much work they were having to do. The Saturday before the National, Rory ran 6 800s uphill, and the young girl ran 6 800s uphill, the same session, and she was 12, 13, Rory was a 19-year-old youngster, and it was like, no,
why did she do 6 400s?
Well, exactly. I was just going to say it should have been half of that, and of course she went on and she broke a 1500, I think, age group. She's not running, and it's over and over. And it's that pressure and hassle of doing something overnight. And it's like, and you know what? You don't need to do it overnight. It won't happen overnight. And as you've just said, you know what? Potentially in 2 or 3 years, you'll be doing something you didn't think about. I'm not doing 800. I'm doing 1500. I'm not doing 1500. I'm doing 3000. Whatever it is.
The other way round.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
And also, there's, this, and from your background, you only get one chance to be fast.
Oh, absolutely.
And as a young person, you've got training fast. Actually, is probably more beneficial than training slow. I
tell everybody that talks to me about it, I say, listen, if you run a good 1500, you run a good 3000. You run a good 3000, you run a good 5000, so on and so on and so on.
Yeah, absolutely, always. And then it's down to the training, actually, how far that goes through, obviously.
Absolutely.
It's like I've been doing a lot of work with academy footballers, and they've been coming back with programs from the clubs to keep them going, but there's no pressure on them. If they miss a session, they miss a session. If they go on holiday and they miss a couple of sessions, there's kind of no pressure. But at sort of 12, 13, they're saying they want effectively one good body weight strength session a week, and then 2 core sessions a week based around movement patterns. And you actually look at what they've been given, it's very much Pilates based. There's the odd move in there you kind of go, probably shouldn't be doing. It's a bit of a push, but it does introduce the youngsters to it. And you look at each session, it's about 20 minutes.
Right.
And then they're saying to them, okay, we want you to go out and run train for another 3 days, but we don't want you to kick a football.
Right.
Or if you do kick a football, it's actually between sessions.
Yeah.
And they've got things like change of direction, speed, so run backwards, change, run forwards, sideways, okay, over short distances. They're given one endurance session, and by that they're talking 20 to 30 minute easy runs, and where they're actually told not to get out of breath. And then the last session, would you believe, is basically a 1500 session.
Oh, wow.
So it's like 10 100s, or 10 lengths of a football pitch.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at it and go, actually, that's pretty balanced. And you can see what they're trying to get at. We want good movement patterns, strength through the movement patterns. We need some endurance so you can keep running fast through a game. But actually, the game might be 2 halves of, say, 30 minutes, that's an hour, but we only want you to run 20, 30 minutes at this age. but we only want you to do sort of a 1500 session, say 10 times 100, or they give variations of it based on the football pitch or whatever. And you're kind of looking at it and going, that's quite balanced.
It is.
And it says in that, you must have a rest day.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If you are doing other sports and you miss one of these, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Rest day, recovery.
And it's almost that vague in terms of it's not specific. It's choose one of these sessions. Here's 6 leg exercises, choose 3.
Yeah.
And you're kind of looking at it going, that's great. And then I see some of the athletic kids and they're doing weight work already going, what you're doing? 6 leg exercises, go, and then you're trying to do everything. It's not like you're doing a general session of strength for an hour and movement, and no one's talking about the movement patterns. It's just like
too much too soon.
Yeah, and it's just we need this cross-fertilization continuing to happen so we can bring these kids through, but we need the movement patterns first. We need them to be a little bit stronger, but they don't need to be going picking that 16 kilo weight up and trying to lump it across the room. 2 kilos will be fine, thank you very much.
Yeah, it's like anything in it, it's called development.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
And progress it through.
Yeah.
And hey, we've got jump boxes for a reason.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Yeah.
Actually, so do I.
Yeah.
It's quite good fun.
And different levels of jump boxes too.
Yeah.
Development, you know what I mean? Again, it's kind of, we want to go from 0 to 100 overnight. It's like, every time. I mean, there are obviously people who get away with it, but generally, if you try and do too much too soon, there's a breakdown of some sort somewhere, nothing's done overnight.
Absolutely, never is. And also, it's a hard lesson, but it's not uncommon to find that somebody actually stagnates for as much as 2 to 3 years.
Oh yeah.
And then they come through again, and you suddenly go, there's that PB they've been waiting for. And how often we're seeing that right now with some of the older youngsters, that have come through, and you sort of say, they always were good, and suddenly, hang on a minute, now they're flying.
Yeah.
But it's taken that progress of a couple of 3 years of working out what's needed.
Well, what's needed and what suits, because sometimes, again, I think we've had this conversation a couple of times over, there's so much information out there, and it's a lot of good information. A lot of information is not relevant to a particular athlete, person, whatever, and it's kind of like saying, okay, this works and this doesn't, and finding out and saying, okay, we need more of this and less of whatever, and just making sure that it's, that you can manage it, basically.
Yeah. And also, if you're tired, stop or back off.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not just not too much soon. It's not too much muchness too soon. It's like we think 8 reps were great. They're only 14. They can do 2 more.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, there's no.
And then it kind of they did that easy, so they stay there. And then you get information coming off the net of what they should do, and you end up with I talk to people all the time and go, hang on a minute. So you're doing A, you're doing B, you're doing C, you're doing D, you're doing. Where'd you get this from? I've just been reading it off the internet. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, together, all of that is wrong. It's all going wrong for you because of all of it. Oh, which one should I drop? No. Which one do we keep?
Yeah.
We're going to change one thing, not 5.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time. And it creases me up.
The thing too about when you say about rest and recovery, it's kind of, somebody saying, we went up that hill. I'm like, hold on, that's not a hill. Oh yeah. Really, it's tough. I climbed X. Like, no. It feels that way because you're obviously tired.
Yeah.
That's a little climb that you wouldn't have even talked about a week ago, a month ago, whatever. But you're saying it's a struggle now, and that's because you're tired. You need to back off. You need to recover. You need to be fresh. And once you start feeling tired the whole time, that's only going one way.
Yeah, either the physio couch or a very big sleep.
Yeah, and of course that's another one too. Sleep, massive. If you're sleeping long hours, it's because you need it. If you're lucky enough to be able to sleep long hours, that is, of course. You've not got a job you've got to be getting up at a crack of dawn for or whatever, but, recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, completely agree. I love Dr. Google, it's great. And all these unqualified opinions.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
And I'm not saying I'm the most qualified, nor are you, but I think there's a level of experience between us.
Well, I think that's it. And you look around people around you that the coaches when you were a youngster or whatever, and you think about what they've seen and what they've done, and the amount of years they've got, and different times and different programs coming out and new things being added or whatever else it is. It's like tempo as an example, we called it steady state. It's a similar thing and all the rest of it, probably not as close to it or as scientific then as they are now, but we had steady states. We went out and did that, and it's all those things, it's just making it so it works for you, basically.
Absolutely. Okay, on that note, we're going to take a short break and we're going to be right back, and we're just going to have a quick chat about more modern training methods.
Good.
Be right back. Modern training methods then, we're back.
Yep.
Interesting how it's changed, isn't it, from how hard can I run those hills, I think we can say that in our day, to actually, that's not good.
Yeah.
It's actually running just below your max for the session, not the hill. Mm-hmm. And I think the common word we're hearing now is submaximal training.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know we've been talking a lot about what Rory's doing,
and
obviously what I've been doing with our little squad, and it amazes me that the similarities are amazing.
Yeah.
Heart rate's involved. What's the tempo, what's the threshold? We can define that now. And it should be like, you made this comment earlier, it should be an individual effort, not a group effort, because as you rightly said,
we're all different.
What effort are we actually running to here? Is somebody being extended more than they should be? And actually is somebody then having an easy ride?
Yeah, exactly.
Or is it just right?
Yeah. No, I think, like you say, you've got the heart monitors, watches now, the science in watches is amazing.
Fly to the moon with one of these, I reckon.
Yeah, and then the lactic tests. So it's like all of that. It's so I was saying back in the day, we were talking about steady state. Now it's more precise, it's more technical, it's more focused, without doubt.
Well, I'm sure Rory's, what you said is he's got numbers to work to, and we obviously lactate test the team here. And also we train very specifically. And I think for me this year, I know how Rory's come on, but been working with, because you asked earlier, how's Chris Jones doing? Because he was doing Manchester, and he's just taken 2 minutes off his half marathon time. He'll run a 1:12, and he's 36 or something daft like that. He's nearly an old man. He's on his way, and that was, people say, well, he must have been training hard. So yeah, he was training hard, but he was training well,
measured,
and it was measured. We did a heck of a lot of work, interval based around his actual half marathon heart rate, not his pace. A lot of threshold work, which again will be below his 10k pace, and then some really short sessions again sticking to heart rate, which would then be above his 10k, so sort of 3k pace, and sometimes a little bit quicker. We also turned it on his head. I don't know what your thoughts on that. We actually start the year at 1500 pace and then slow them down and then take it longer. So if the speed's improved, it comes through into the longer stuff.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that sounds good, and I think we were talking, you and I were talking previously about it. It's kind of the consistency as well.
Yep,
is a huge thing, because what you don't want to be doing is training, being injured, missing, having a gap, training again, getting to a point where you're just getting right, you get another injury. And it's kind of like, okay, there's a level
there's
here.
A fine line as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you
stay underneath and we keep going, then we're fine. If we keep going above and we keep getting stressed and we keep doing too much, we keep breaking down, then you know what, obviously you don't get the consistency, you don't have a period of time. I look at various athletes, world level or local, whichever it might be, and the guys that are able to have the length of time without having the periods out, the consistency, then they're the ones that they're making it work.
Absolutely, and the other thing with that as well, and you mentioned this earlier, it was about recovery. If somebody's a bit fatigued in that phasing, it's actually okay to back off for a week.
Massive.
And then bring it back, because it ain't going anywhere.
No, because all you do, you go above that line and then something happens. You stay there. It's great, like you say, you know, I think what happens is everybody gets so paranoid about hitting a mileage or hitting a session or hitting a time, whatever it is, that, you know what, we're so bent out of shape over that we think a rest day or a recovery is wrong.
Yeah,
it's not. It's an important part of what we're doing. It's got to be built in. And you've got to think
I don't care what the mileage is in a week.
No,
because I worked at time, and the outcome is the outcome. I think as a coach, what annoys me is when I get a little bit of feedback. Oh yeah, we got a bit wet, so we spin the run, and you go, really?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, come on.
No need.
I mean, I don't think we had biblical storms like this every week back in the day, but anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only thing that kind of gets me, is when you hear that sort of situation. But it's how much recovery do we need? It's sub-maximal. It's defining what threshold is, or tempo, because there's a difference. And I think, like you say, heart rate, GPS, everything. Yeah. It's a way of measuring, but it's also a way of actually looking at the outcomes and not getting hung up on it.
No, not at all. That's the thing. Don't get hung up on it. I'm supposed to do. I should have done. No. Today you're not 100%. It's not right. Just I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do 8 of those instead of 12 of those, whatever it might be. And in some cases, not at all. You might think I'm so. And I was just going to say actually about the coach and the athlete too. You've got to know each other well, because you'll see somebody going well, and you'll see somebody struggling. And when you say, okay, we've done enough tonight,
you've done enough,
because you can see, that they're fatigued for whatever reason.
It could be life.
Well,
just could be life.
That's the thing. I've had a tough day at work. It's about lifestyle, isn't it?
I bet you run badly after you've been here.
I
See
tell you
how
what,
my dad's having to go through shoes with dads. Crikey.
Dreadful.
I mean, the amount of stick you get, mate.
I know I can stay at home and get this sort of stuff.
Yeah. I hope that's not going out on air. You're in so much bother.
I'm always in bother. I live my life like
There's
that.
the hot water. Anyway, should we talk about these new wide boys?
Yes, let's do that.
VJ, what have you brought? What are these?
This one is a new shoe, literally just dropped here, and we've sent it out to a few places. The Irock Plus.
Hang on. Here we go.
It's known as the Irock Plus, but in effect, I'm telling everybody, and it is the Irock Wide. It's the Irock in a wide fitting.
So when I said wide boys, I wasn't wrong.
Wide boys, exactly. I mean, we
like us, apparently.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with VJ is we've always been driven by competition shoes. Basically, its heritage is orienteering, and since I've been involved since 2018, we've developed the line out to various different types of competitions, not just orienteering. But one of the features of competition is a snug, tighter fitting shoe, because you don't want it to move.
Certainly very traditional, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But there are some people out there with wider feet. Yeah, exactly. So what we've done is we've developed a second and a third last, and this is one of our.
The last, by the way, folks, is the shape of the shoe.
Yes, which it's made around, and what we've got the Irock, which is very popular in the fell, off-road and trail racing, but there's a gap for us there where the people with wider feet can't use our shoes, and the idea behind this one is it's a wider fit, similar shoe, and you've got that width at the forefoot. Still all butyl rubber, which is literally climb walls with this stuff. It gives you grip.
Yeah, we had to go earlier, didn't we? There's some scrape marks.
Yeah, look at all the marks on the wall. Exactly.
But actually, I felt we were very Spidey.
Close
very
to the ceiling.
Spider-Man. Yeah, I thought we did well.
Well,
right?
it is. It's an amazing material. And the other thing that we have in all of our shoes is either what we call a Keprotec upper or a Kevlar upper. So they're really robust, because we go back to the heritage of the brand and say orienteers don't follow a trail round, or they don't follow a path. They plough through bracken and all sorts of undergrowth. So the uppers are going to get ripped to shreds.
Does feel very tough, but at the same time, there's a lot of flex there.
Oh, it's flexible, yeah, absolutely. But that has to be one of the main features of our shoes, and then the other one, like I say, and we talk about it, is the grip, and it's number one, and that's why we say we're best grip on the planet, because whether it's wet rock or it's knee deep on one of the fells in peat or whatever,
you nearly said it.
Then you need this, and the idea being all of our shoes, like I say, it's that grip.
Is that 8mm?
Yeah, no, this one's a 6mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, actually,
we have got an 8mm on the Irock itself.
Yeah, to be honest with you, for 6mm,
yeah,
it's plenty.
Yeah. And this as well with the.
I think Munich University.
So
yeah, I think Munich University did some research. They said 6mm was optimum.
Exactly. And with this too, with the midsole and the shape of the stud, slightly broader.
So better contact on rock.
Exactly. So there's more surface area if you want in that one. Yeah, brand new.
Compression or injection?
This is performance, what we call now, which is what we talked about before, the EVA TPU and
compression.
Yeah, hydrogen.
Nitrogen.
Hydrogen. Let's say hydrogen.
Highly explosive shoe.
Boom. It's blown up.
Oh, right, nitrogen infused.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So
very responsive.
Yeah, the idea being too that it lasts longer, more protection for a longer period of time, and obviously, as all the midsoles in the marketplace.
That's a right step up for a fell shoe.
Yeah.
That's also stinking new. Yeah. And even if it is hydrogen, it's not nitrogen.
Yeah.
I like the fact that we've got a new explosive shoe on the shelves.
Yeah, well, again, we with all of ours, it's this new performance material, so we've got them in various shoes.
Okay. I think these are going to literally bomb off the shelves. No,
the other thing
off the shelves.
I didn't mention.
There must be a joke there.
Yeah.
I can't get
there. Yeah. But the other thing I didn't mention is just a little bit more cushioning than the Irock. The idea being, if you want to go longer on that type of terrain, then obviously got that little bit more, cushioning from impact.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
And of course the fit lock.
Of course the fit lock. Perfect. Right.
Thank you.
We're about to get ejected from the room.
Good stuff.
And it's needed.
Thank you.
But that's okay. There's Debbie stood over there, look, like the headmistress.
Telling us to get out of here.
Yeah. There's a look and a half.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm in trouble now. So, I'd like you to come back.
Yeah,
I reckon we could have an old man slot.
Oh yeah. And we can tear all sorts of people.
Oh yeah. What, even some we know?
Oh hey, no, definitely the ones we know. We can get away with it now.
Yeah, we can now, can't we? Yeah. We'll have to get a park bench instead of two comfy chairs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe something in a brown paper bag at our feet. Anyways, on that note, Tony, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's always great to talk running and training with you, and we always have that, well, very rarely a debate, more of an old man thing on a park bench. I think Debs has called that. Yeah. And it's also great to see new shoes and the fact you're still in the game, so to speak.
Yeah.
And when are you next out watching, Rory? Do you know yet?
We're probably down to Loughborough this weekend for a 1500, and then the UK Olympic trials, which is the 29th of June.
So a lot going on in a short space of time.
Yeah, too much.
Okay, well, from all of us, wish him the best.
Thank you.
And from yourself, stay calm.
I will do.
When you're watching.
I will try.
Right, that's it, folks. Thanks ever so much. We'll see you soon.